Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of Camera Carnage. I'm Ryan from Seymoure Carnage Photography, and you just saw a little time lapse of me pulling down a $3 gray bed sheet budget backdrop, a little flashback to my previous video, and practicing what I preach to shoot some footage for an upcoming video about budget modeling light solutions. So stay tuned for that. Oh yeah. Thanks for joining. Last episode was a tip, so this one's gonna be a hack. Let's say you're going to shoot on location, but it's 1,000,000 degrees out, or 1,000,000 below, or 1,000,000% humidity. Pick the 1,000,000 that you dislike the most. You want to be prepared for anything, but at the same time you don't want to make 3 extra trips to and from the car with a whole bunch of gear that you're probably not gonna need. Obviously, there's only one real viable solution to this scenario.
Oh, assistant?
Yes, sir, Mr. Carnage, sir?
We're going to be shooting on location today, so since I've got you to carry all of my stuff for me, why don't we just go ahead and bring all the light stands, all the lights, all the backdrops, all the accessories. You know, just make sure you don't forget anything when you're loading up the helicopter.
Of course, sir. My sole function is to make sure that your job is easier. And what's better, I get to do this for free. You're so good to me.
Totally relatable scenario, right? Yeah, no, not for me either. The reality, of course, is that we've got to schlep everything in and out of our shoots. And that means when we're packing up, we're second guessing whether we need to really grab that extra set of light stands or that extra box of whatever. I recently had a creative shoot with a friend of mine. Thought it was going to be relatively simple. When we started shooting, I realized I'm going to need a reflector. Problem is, I didn't have anywhere to prop up a reflector, I didn't have anyone to help, and we were doing waist-up shots with the client, so couldn't exactly do the whole, hey, buddy, can you hold this reflector under your chin just out of the frame trick. We managed to improvise and overcome, but it took a lot of time, and it was really frustrating, and frankly, it wasn't a good look. So after that shoot, I got to thinking, I obviously don't want to find myself in a situation like that again, but at the same time, I don't want to be lugging around a whole bunch of extra stuff to every shoot. So I went online and I started looking around for compact, lightweight light stands. And aluminum compact light stands aren't really that much smaller than the standard ones or any lighter. And there's several companies out there making really cool, lightweight, ultra-portable stands out of exotic materials, but the problem is they cost a small fortune. So then I started looking at cool things like selfie sticks with little built-in feet, or miniature tripods for vloggers. And the problem was, all of those products were A, either too flimsy, but more importantly, B, they didn't have a 1/4-20 fitting on them. They're all designed to be used with cell phones, so there's no way to mount real camera accessories on top of them. At least not without a little bit of hacking. So these are just some fancy selfie sticks that convert into tripods. You tap a little button on the bottom, it releases the legs, they fold open, then the whole rod telescopes out up to 5 feet tall. They're lightweight, they're made out of plastic, but they're still sturdy. Are these as strong and stable as a full-size light stand? No, obviously not. These are best going to serve you indoors or at least on hard level surfaces. I wouldn't necessarily recommend using them out in the wind or in busy scenarios or around children or pets that could pose a risk of knocking them over. While they are stable in controlled conditions, they have their limitations. I've had no problems putting my full-size speed lights at a mount on these. However, they're not stable enough to hold any kind of modifiers on top of that, not even an umbrella. The base just isn't quite wide enough, and that little pivoting head will start to sag under the extra weight as soon as you start to load it away from the axis. That said, I've found that they'll support small fabric reflectors and pieces of foam core at some pretty extreme angles, depending on how high you have the mast raised. Although, if you're doing a load like this, I would suggest sandbagging the feet just to be safe. Small LED light panels don't seem to be a problem at all, and I've actually been able to use the pivoting head to direct the light a little bit. At the end of the day, what makes these things great is that you can throw a couple of them in your camera bag and take them along with you if you're not sure if you're going to need extra stands or need stands at all. You're probably not even going to notice that they're in there. These are really easy to build. All you need is a drill and a basic set of bits. I used a tap to actually do the 1/4-20 threads, but if you don't have a tap and die kit, just drill a 1/4-20 hole and then put a little bit of glue on that adapter when you put it in the top. Done. So there you go. For the fraction of a price of an exotic stand, you can DIY your own with minimal skill and effort. Thanks for watching this episode of Camera Carnage. I'm Ryan from Seymoure Carnage Photography. List of materials is down below. If you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave them, and I will get back to them as soon as possible. Thanks again, and be on the lookout for future videos.